welcome to my little corner. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys my favorite Christmas movies. It's already December and that only means that the Christmas movie marathon has already begun. Number 10 on my list, I have Christmas Vacation. And I think it has a longer name than that, like Lapoon's National Christmas Vacation. It's something like that, it's a really long title. I watched this movie a few days ago and it's an old movie, but it's actually quite fun and entertaining. The movie is about this guy who wants to have a perfect Christmas and he wants everything to be perfect, but everything just goes wrong. It's a very fun movie. It will definitely make you laugh. I think this movie is part of the Vacation series. I don't know if you heard of the movie The Vacation, and there's like 3 or 4. I remember one is in Vegas, and then we have the Christmas one. And in all of these movies, they all have one thing in common, is that everything goes wrong for this guy. At some point you're gonna feel kind of bad and sad for him, but it's still a very fun movie and you should definitely watch it if you have not watched it yet. Number 9 on my list, I have Four Christmases. This is another movie that I watched very recently as well. This movie is about a couple that is not married but live together and they're like perfectly happy, and both of their parents are divorced and they do not want to spend Christmas with their crazy families, so they decide to go on a tropical Christmas vacation. But then the flight is cancelled and then they are stuck where they are, and then they have to spend Christmas with their families. And because both of their parents are divorced, there's 4 Christmases. That's why, and hence the title of the movie. They have to go through 4 different Christmases with all of their parents, and seriously, their families are so crazy and it feels like one is just worse than the other. But then after spending so much time with their families, they start to realize their couple inner problems and stuff like that. It's a fun movie. It's another one of those, you know, American comedies that are very relaxed. Number 8 on my list is Christmas with the Kranks. This movie is actually on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can go check it out right now. This movie is about this couple who is finally alone for Christmas. Like, all of their kids are busy somewhere else and they cannot make it home, so they decided to take a cruise for Christmas instead. But the whole neighborhood is kind of sketchy and it's kind of weird. It's a movie, so I don't think that would happen in real life. Like, they're very into Christmas and they have a best decoration, Christmas decoration, like how you have to decorate like the outside of your house like with lights, and it has to be very Christmassy, and then there's like a whole competition about it, and it's kind of weird. I think that's a bit weird. And basically this family, the Kranks, they don't even want to celebrate Christmas. They just want to go away on a cruise alone, and all of their neighborhood is just on them, like all the time. When are you gonna put up the Christmas decorations? They even offer to do it for them, and basically they kind of force them to celebrate Christmas even though they're not very much into it. And the movie is pretty much about this couple kind of like trying to run away from the neighborhood and the neighborhood always on them. It's kind of weird, yeah. But I think it's another, you know, it's a relaxed, fun movie, I guess. Number 7 on my list, I have The Holiday. And again, I watched this movie recently. I don't know why I have not watched this movie a long time ago. This movie is very interesting because it's not your typical kind of movie. Like, this movie is not predictable. So this movie has Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, Kate Winslet, Jude Law. Basically the movie is kind of about like 2 romantic stories that kind of like intertwine in a way. So there's Kate Winslet in England, and then you have Cameron Diaz in LA, right? And then they both have like their sad background story of their romantic life that is not going very well for them. And then there's this one thing that they do where they exchange houses. Basically their whole lives change, and then they find love in the other parts of the world, which is pretty cool. And it's just the way things happen, and it's not very predictable, you know, it's very unpredictable. It's a very good love story, you know, for both of them. Number 6 on my list, I have Love Actually. And I watched this movie so many times, but I think the reason I watched it so many times is because my dad loves this movie, and every time around Christmas this movie was always on TV, and my dad would always watch it, so I would watch along. So I watched this movie too many times. It's a really nice movie, and it's about tons of stories. There's like 9 different love stories in the movie. It's crazy. So if you love Christmas love stories, then this is one that you have to watch. I'm pretty sure you already watched it, because who hasn't? Actually, I think my husband has not watched this movie, so this Christmas I'm gonna make him watch this movie. Number 5 on my list, I have A Christmas Carol. And the specific one that I'm talking about is the one with Jim Carrey. And I have not watched, you know, the old movie, because, you know, it's really, really old. And it kind of like loses my interest when it's like really old. I'm sorry about that. Basically, it's about this old man that he's really bitter and he hates Christmas. And then he's haunted by these 3 ghosts. The ghost of the past, present, and future. And basically the ghosts are gonna make him realize how everything went wrong, why he's so bitter, and basically change his mind about Christmas in life and all of it. It's a really nice movie. It's very like heartwarming, and I really enjoyed it. I think you would as well. I don't know why. If you have not watched this movie yet, I don't know why you haven't. Number 4 on my list, I have The Grinch, and this is absolutely a Christmas classic. And I believe my husband has not watched it yet. So this is another movie that I'm gonna make my husband watch this Christmas. So yeah, this movie is not really an animation movie, but it kind of has a cartoony feel to it. You'll know what I mean. Anyway, so there's the Grinch that hates Christmas, and he just wants to steal everything and just ruin Christmas for everybody. He just cannot stand, you know, Christmas singing and the presents and all of that fuzzy Christmas heartwarming stuff. So in this movie you will see how the Grinch can become a better person. Number 3 on my list, and now we go to the very best of Christmas movies, and I have Elf. I watched this movie last Christmas. I watched it a few days ago, and I'm gonna keep on watching this movie every single year because this is so good. So Elf is played by Will Ferrell, and this is probably his best movie. I don't know. So basically he's raised in the North Pole, and he's raised by elves. So he believes that he's an elf, even though he's huge and he does not look like an elf, but he believes he's an elf. And then he finds out that he's human and that his dad is in New York, and then he wants to go find his real dad. So he goes on a journey from the North Pole to New York, and he just wants to meet his dad and connect with his dad. But because he thinks he's an elf and he lived all of his life in the North Pole, he acts weird, he dresses like an elf, he doesn't know much about, you know, society and stuff. So it's really fun. It's a really funny movie, and you really have to watch it. And finally we have number 2 and number 1. I'm gonna do it as a combo because Number 2 is Home Alone 2. And number 1 is Home Alone 1. So, I said this before. Home Alone is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. I loved it so much. I watched this movie every single Christmas ever since I was a kid, actually. I am pretty sure everyone in this planet has watched Home Alone. It's just a Christmas classic. How can you not like this movie? Basically, this kid is left alone for Christmas by accident. It's a really big family and it's a huge mess, and then he ends up getting lost, or he ends up being forgotten at home, and then he just spends Christmas alone. And one thing that I always wonder about this movie is, like, do they actually say what the parents' jobs are? I don't remember what their jobs are, but seriously, they have a huge house. They have a huge family. They're like over 10 people. I don't know how many they are, but they're like 10 or over 10 people living in the same house, and they still have money to go on a vacation for all those 10 people. Well, they're like super rich. Home Alone, definitely the best Christmas movie ever made, and this is my list. This is my top 10 Christmas movies. Now that everything is said, I want to know what are your favorite Christmas movies, so make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe, because I will see you next time. Bye bye.